Always an inventor. Robert Fulton is best known for creating the first successful steamboat. That is really just a small part of what he did. He was an inventor, artist, statesman, mechanic, and engineer. From the beginning, he spent his days learning and trying new things. Fulton was born in Pennsylvania in 1765. His father died when he was just 3. His mother was left to raise him and his siblings alone. When Fulton was just 8, his mother sent him away to school, but she became worried. She didn't think he was learning enough there. She told his teacher of her concerns. The teacher said there wasn't much he could do. He thought that Fulton's head was so full of original ideas that there was no room for the contents of dusty books. Fulton didn't want to learn about what others said and did. He wanted to figure things out for himself. Laws of motion. Every engineer must learn the laws of motion. Sir Isaac Newton first came up with them about 300 years ago. They explain the effects of force on motion. The first law says that an object at rest will stay at rest if there is no outside force to put it into motion. It also says that a moving object will keep going in a straight line at the same speed forever unless there are outside forces. The second law says that a force makes an object speed up or slow down. The third law says that if a force is used, something happens in response to it that equals its power. Force is needed to make planes take off, fly, and land. Fulton began to invent things when he was a young boy. When he was 13 years old, he made his own pencils. He used sheets of lead. Pencils were not new at that time, but Robert's pencils were just as good as the graphite pencils that were invented before this time. Fulton was very smart, but he never did well in school. He learned how to read and write at home. He did not like to do his schoolwork. He wanted to work at the mechanic's shop instead. Gunmaker. Fulton was an expert gunmaker too. When he was a teen, he made parts for gunmakers. As a boy, Fulton made his own pencils. Early engineers. Engineering has been around for a long time. It is the use of science and math to design, build, and operate buildings, machines, and systems. Heron of Alexandria was one of the first engineers. The exact date of his birth is unknown, but some experts believe he was born around AD 75. He is worth noting because he made a steam engine that helped a great deal in developing the first jet engine. In addition to working in mechanics, Robert was an artist. In fact, as a young man, his dream was to become a painter. In 1786, he went to London to study art. Making a living as an artist was difficult, so he returned to his engineering work. He used his artistic skills to sketch his inventions. An important thing to note about Fulton is that he did more than just think of new inventions. He also designed and built most of his ideas. Fulton was quite the artist. This is one of his sketches, Cruelty Presiding over the Prison Ship, done in 1856. Lillian Gilbreth. Lillian Gilbreth was born in 1878. She earned degrees in literature, but she became famous for other things. First, she had 12 children. One of them wrote the famous novel Cheaper by the Dozen about their family. The second is that she became an important engineer. During the Great Depression, Gilbreth helped the President of the United States find ways to make work more efficient. She also invented many things you used every day. These include the foot pedal trash can and refrigerator door shelves. Gilbreth was also the first woman elected to the National Academy of Engineering. She lived to be 94 years old. Working with boats. Robert Fulton always liked boats. He spent much of his life looking for new ways to propel boats through the water. The fishing boats of his time moved by poling. This was done by pushing a long pole against the bottom of a river. Robert wanted to make a better boat. He designed a boat with paddles, wheels, and a crank. The boat did not look very nice, but it worked well. Here you can see the hand crank used to paddle the boat and the rudder used to steer it by. Paving the way. In 1918, Kate Gleason became the first female member of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. Martha J. Costin. They say that necessity is the mother of invention. They also say that you can do anything you set your mind to. Martha J. Costin proves that both are true. When she was just 21, her husband died. She was left to care for their 4 children alone. It was the mid-1800s. Costin didn't have many options. She found plans for a signal flare in her husband's notes. She took his idea and made it better. Costin used the technology of fireworks to help make bright, safe, long-lasting flares. The U.S. Navy gave her $20,000 for her invention. With that money, she started an engineering company. It lasted until the late 1970s. Making them better. Robert Fulton often worked to improve earlier inventions. Most people think he invented the steam engine. The steam engine had actually been invented before Fulton's work. Fulton, however, was the first to put the design ideas into action. He studied the ways that steam could be used to move boats through the water. In 1807, Fulton built the Clermont. It was the first steamboat that could be called a success. Measure up. Any good engineer knows that nothing can be done without good measurements. Fulton had to be exact when it came to building his steamboat. These are his measurements for the Clermont. Length, 43 meters or 142 feet. Maximum height, 19 meters or 62 feet. Maximum width, 4.3 meters or 14 feet. Draught, 4.8 meters or 15 feet 9 inches. Displacement, 1,210 tons. Average speed, 4.7 miles per hour. Distance traveled, 150 miles in 32 hours. Early steam engine. Thomas Avery, 1650 to 1716, built the first steam engine. It was used to pump water out of coal mines.